Hello everyone, my name is Thomas White and this is Thomas Writes. Today I'm going to be doing my first ever book haul video for the month of August. For those of you who don't know, a book haul video is a video in which the person talks about the books that they recently bought and explains why they bought them. This is a bit of an experiment on my part, as a lot of other booktubers do book haul videos. I likely won't do them very often because one, it costs money, and two, I just want to be able to produce more essays, more reviews, and that sort of thing. So this will be sort of an interesting little experiment for my channel. If you guys like this video, be sure to leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe as well for more content. This is just a little bonus video that I'm giving you, and I hope you enjoy. I got all of my books today from Half Price Books, which is a fantastic store that I highly recommend. It is far cheaper than some of the other bigger named brand places out there. This video is not sponsored by them or anything like that. I just really like the store. Just to clarify. So with that, on to the books that I bought. The first book I want to talk about is The Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. If you couldn't tell, I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan. Shocking, I know. This is the first book in what Disney is calling their High Republic series. It takes place thousands of years before the events of The Phantom Menace, but also after the Old Republic timeline, for those of you who care about Star Wars canon. I had heard pretty good things about this book and the High Republic series as a whole, and I had been wanting to check it out, but frankly, I had been a bit burned out on Star Wars lately, so I wanted to take a little break from it, but I feel like I'm in the right state of mind where I can tackle The Light of the Jedi. Plus, the Cassian Andor show is coming up, so I feel like it would be an appropriate time to start doing a little bit of Star Wars content. And if you guys want more Star Wars content, feel free to let me know. I'm eager to check this one out. I've heard Charles Soule has done some good work on the Vader comics, which those that I read, I really enjoyed, so I'm really anticipating that this will be at least a decent read. We will see, though. We will see. The next book I got is The Moon is a Harsh Mistress by Robert Heinlein. Robert Heinlein is one of my favorite sci-fi authors of all time. His short stories are fantastic. I'll actually be putting up a review of one of his most famous books, Starship Troopers, up on Saturday, so you can look forward to that. I am also currently reading Stranger in a Strange Land, which many people consider to be his magnum opus, and I am loving it so far. What I really like about Heinlein is that even though he's a sci-fi author, his tone is very down-to-earth. He uses a lot of humor, his characters have a lot of heart to them, and he writes in such a way that I think is pretty easy for most readers to pick up. He isn't overly verbose, he doesn't use terms that the reader will be unfamiliar with, and as such, I think he's a really good starting point for anybody who wants to get into reading sci-fi. I have never read The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. I've heard this is one of his better works, and so I really want to pick this one up once I finish Stranger in a Strange Land and get that review up, so you can look forward to seeing this review in the future as well. Next up, I've got a few classics by none other than H.G. Wells, the first one being his classic The War of the Worlds. I've read this book a long time ago, back in middle school, but frankly, there's a lot that I don't remember about it, and it's one that I want to see how well it holds up on reread. This book is most famous for kind of kicking off the whole alien invasion genre of science fiction, which it's incredible to think that a man writing a book at the turn of the century, in the early 1900s, came up with this idea of giant walking metal tanks carrying Martians that are attacking Earth. Just that kind of creativity is so impressive to me. And H.G. Wells, he's one of the greats. He's one of those names that you will hear for sure if you read any sort of science fiction. He inspired so many other stories with his works. There have, of course, been several movie adaptations of The War of the Worlds. There's the infamous Orson Welles broadcast that freaked people out back in the 1930s, I believe it was. I'm really looking forward to rereading this book at some point because it is a classic, and it is one that I want to see how well it holds up. Next up, I've got a couple of other H.G. Wells stories. This one is a dual sort of, I don't know what you call it, a dual book? I don't know what you call it when it contains multiple stories in one. But this one is The Time Machine and the Invisible Man, both by H.G. Wells. And again, this shows just how prolific and creative of an author H.G. Wells was. I picked this one up because The Time Machine is one of my favorite sci-fi books, and I've been wanting to reread it to review it for the channel, but I've actually never read The Invisible Man. It was real cheap. This one was only $5, and look at the condition of that book. And $5, and you get 2 amazing classic stories in it. This is why I love half-price books. Half-price books, please give me money to talk about your stuff. I believe my brother has read this book and he said fantastic things about it. So I want to review both of these stories for the channel. And H.G. Wells, like Heinlein, I think is a great place for people to start with science fiction because his stories are pretty short and he writes in a way that I think most people can pick up on well. I didn't realize I made a pun until just now. There you go. And finally, the last book of my book haul, the oh so special, the oh so long and complicated, that's right folks, it's Dune. Dune is one of those books that is quintessential science fiction. It influenced everything from Star Wars to Spore, that EA video game. I don't know if anybody talks about that game anymore, but the fact that they mine spice on planets in Spore comes directly from this book. I had tried to read Dune earlier this year on the audio version, but I found it was just too hard to keep up with all of the terms, the places, the names that Herbert puts in his book. The audio version just wasn't doing it for me. This is one of those books that I need to sit down and take my time with. I need to be able to write in the margins and write notes and make annotations as I go along. I'm really looking forward to reading Dune. I've seen the movie that came out about a year ago and enjoyed it well enough, but it was one of those movies that made me think, you know what, I really want to read the book so I get more of the context behind everything that is happening. I will probably hold off on reviewing Dune for a while until the second movie comes out. One, because I've got so many other reviews on my plate right now. And two, it's one that I really want to take my time with. It's a really in-depth world. Many people call this the Lord of the Rings of science fiction. It is very in-depth. It is a slow burn, for sure. However, what's in there has influenced sci-fi in so many ways. I would be totally wrong not to pick it up and try it at least one time. But that is all the books I have for this month's book haul. Again, I'm not sure how often I'll do these, just depending on the response and how many books I'm able to get through each month. But I hope you all enjoyed the video and got a good taste of what will be coming up next. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.